y'all doing? My name is Kathleen, and I am a dyer and owner behind Good Needle Yarn Co. I thought it'd be kind of fun if you hung out with me a little bit today while I dyed some yarn. Color in my head, like I want to make this color, and so I have been trying all week to get to try to play with it and to try to get it figured out, and I'm not quite there yet. So today is just going to be kind of an experimenting day to see whether or not this thing in my head is even going to work. So we'll see. Now, normally when I dye, my style is kind of like if I'm going to make something that's in the blues, then I'm going to do different colors of blues and maybe go a little bit of yellow or a little bit of green, kind of in that same world. Nothing too heavily contrasted and, all over the place. But that's what I want to do for this one. So I'm trying to do a light teal color, kind of my I don't know if y'all ordered anything from me, the color of the mailing bags that I have, and then have just little bits of kind of speckly rainbow on it. So we'll see. I'm not really sure how the rainbow colors are going to do on top of the teal color. I think it might end up kind of muddying them up, and it might just look awful, and then I'll just have to rethink it. But, it could be pretty cool. This is how I started on this journey this week. So I have, what I do is I dye lots of semi-solid colors so that I can kind of have a baseline as to what it is that I feel like I might want to do for a particular colorway. So I've got dang near 100 of these things. And so I looked through all of them and was trying to find the color that I thought I wanted. And of course I couldn't. So what I have is I had like a green color, and then I had like a blue color. And neither of them were quite right. So I've been doing different combinations of these blues and greens all week. And I think that I have finally got that settled. So at least there's that. So as you can see in this pan over here, I have 4 different colors. It's actually the same color. It's the same combination of the blues and greens, but one of them is a very pale version of it. One of them is a darker version of it, and the other 2 are kind of right in the middle. So I have the 4 different colors, and I have that in a sock weight, and then I also have the same 4 colors in a DK weight, because those are the two yarn weights that I dye on and that I'm going to be using for the yarn club. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. So the plan is I have 2 groups of rainbow colors that I think that I would like to try on these to see how they would work. And so I'm going to do one set of rainbow on all of the soft color to see how it reacts with the different the different tones of the teal, et cetera, et cetera. And then I have a different set of rainbow, which I'm going to be doing on the DK. So we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and get my gloves on, get my mask on. Now, when I have I'm using dye powders, which I don't normally do. Again, it's not kind of my style of the way that I do things. But like I said, for this, it's kind of what I want. So I need to wear the mask when I'm dealing with the dye powders, because you don't want to inhale any of that and all of that nonsense. So when I actually have the mask on, my voice is going to be a little muffled. You might not be able to hear me, but I'll take it off in between and come back over and chat or whatever, and then we'll see how it goes. So I am going. The color that I'm going to do is kind of a bright yellow color, and I don't honestly think the yellow is going to work at all, but so it tends to kind of spread out really quickly, but we'll see. All right, so I'm gonna let that steam for just a minute to just kind of set for a little bit. I've got this yarn right here that I'm gonna be wiping my gloves on so that I don't have to use new gloves every time. So I think what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna do the warmer colors first and then the cooler colors. All right, most of them are done. Okay, that was kind of like an orangey kind of a color. Now, I'm not going to stress out about too much about how, I like to do things ordinarily. I usually would let each of these colors set for about 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, something like that before I put the other one on top, just to try and try to keep it from, all mixing together and getting too muddy looking. But you know what, it is what it is. I'm really just trying to see how this works and how these colors work. And then after I get the colors figured out, then I'll figure out the technique. It's kind of the way I do things. All right, so I'm going to do a little bit of a red. All right, this was kind of a real pretty dark red color. Hard to tell when you're dyeing, like looking at the powder color and looking how it is when it lands on the yarn. It doesn't always end up that way. So all right, I think I'm going to go ahead and do green next. Yeah, so as I'm doing this, I'm realizing that I probably am not going to use any actual green. This green is beautiful though, it's one of my favorite greens. But I'm probably not going to use that on this colorway since I already have enough blue and green kind of in the base color. So it's probably going to do the same thing for the blue, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. That color was like it's a blue, but kind of a little on the purple side of blue. All right, that is a, ooh, isn't that pretty? That purple color. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and let that sit for a couple of minutes, and then I'm gonna flip it over and get kind of a new area that doesn't have a whole lot of powders on it. And then I think I'm gonna go ahead and try it again without the green and probably without the blue. I don't know, we'll see. I'll let it hang out for a second. Now, because I'm using the powders and I want them to kind of stay in one place, I don't really want them to, you know, move around and spread out. I'm using just a tiny little bit of water in the bottom of this pan just so that it'll steam, but not like, all right, let's see how this is looking. We'll see. All right. Let's see if I can find an area that doesn't have a whole lot of the speckles on it already. I love this really light aqua color. I think once it dries, it's going to end up being too light for what I'm looking for, but it may show up in another way at another time. I think I'm going to use just the orange, the red, and the purple. By the time the yellow is mixing with these colors, it's kind of looking a little greeny anyway, which I'm not really a fan of, so we'll try the orange. So I think I can tell right away that the darkest color teal is not going to work. It's just too dark and the colors aren't showing up well on it. Although the lighter color I really like and the colors show up really well on it, I think it's probably going to be too light. So I think that this pan right here with the two medium toned colors are probably what we're going to end up with. But like I said, you never know until it dries. So since I'm just using 3 of the colors, I'm going to go in a little bit heavier with them than I did on the first round.
All right, I'm gonna put this purple on and then I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna show you something else over on the other camera. While I let the other colors heat up a little bit. I'm going to set these over on my actual stove top. I'm going to let them steam probably for about 45 minutes or so. Especially with these vibrant colors, I want to make sure that they're all set very well. I don't want anybody to run into any problems when they're washing them. All right, so I'm going to let you in a little bit onto the hot mess that is my mind this week. All right, I'm going to do the yellow and the green first. Yellow and that green is actually the same yellow and the green that I used on the first set of rainbow colors. There's not a whole lot of variance as far as the yellows go, and especially when they're used as a powder. And that green was about the only color green that I wanted, so there you go. But I'm using more of a bright pink instead of a red. This orange is a little bit more corally, and then I have a different shade of a blue and a different shade of a purple. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm seeing that pink color is beautiful, but it's also extremely vibrant. So I don't think we're going to need to use very much of that at all. I'll probably put that on last when I'm doing the other side of it. That didn't look all that orangey to me, so we'll just have to see how it works. You may hear Riley. I've got my back door open since I've got all of these pans going in here just to let the some of the humidity out. All right, let's see how this blue does. Okay, I'm gonna do this purple. The first purple I used was a little bit more of a true purple. And that blue I used, it's one of the favorite blues that I have. It's very rare that I'll just take a color out of the tub and mix it with water and call it a day. I usually will take, 2 or 3 of the different blues and to make the kind of blue that I feel like I want to make. And this one blue I use quite a bit as a base color and add on top of it. So I'm not sure how it's going to do by itself. But it's just yarn, so what's the worst thing that can happen? With this set of colors, I'm kind of noticing the same thing that we noted on the first round, that the very light color may be too light and the very dark color might be too dark. So let me see. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm just going to do the orange, the pink, and the purple and see how that goes. All right, I'm going to do the last color, this kind of magenta pink color. Love that pink color. That might be a winner. I'm going to let these steam for about an hour.
like I said, I'm gonna let that sit for about an hour, let it cool down, rinse it out tonight and let it cool, or let it dry rather. And then we'll see how it all turns out. And then I will look at that and see if any of the colors are on them that I like, see if I like any of the colors together, and see if I can come to a decision on what I'm gonna do for this colorway.